G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on the brand new patch for Age of Empires 4 and looking forward to seeing exactly how the balance changes are going to affect these civilizations. For anybody in the know, the English didn't face many changes on that patch. However, the Japanese, on the other hand, received plenty. So let's dive in, let's introduce our players, and let's get this party started. Spawning in on the south side of the map, playing in the English once again in the color teal, we've got Undertaker for 2069. And on the north side of the map in the color red, playing as the Japanese, we've got Crackety here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying this Age of Empires 4 content, make sure you leave a like on the video, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. Look at us timing up perfectly. We're on the map here, Cliffside. I'm excited. We got have a look at this. A funky little spawn here today. 3 sacred sites, all on that west side of the map. Nothing on the east side, except for a couple of gold mines, maybe a couple of relics, depending on what your interest is. Very, very interesting, because it basically means you can lock down this side completely. Like, let's, hypothetical. You throw a stone wall here in the middle. Where did my music go? It feels so eerie when there's no music or, like, no sounds or anything. Hold on. All right, we're good. Okay, anyway. Stone wall in the middle. Lock this bad boy down. Throw a castle over here. Throw down a stone wall across here, and you're pretty much guaranteed that you've got sacred victory contention coming right through. Now, granted, your opponent could do a sneaky little round the top, some sort of attack with lots and lots of units and try and siege down landmarks. I guess that could be a way that you go for it if you leave that side open. But nonetheless, I'm curious to see whether our players recognize this, and it's kind of a weird spawn. Look at this, how you've got multiple layers as well with this cliffside, so a bit of a weird one. But anyway, look, let's get to it. Age ups are about to come through. I say about to come through. I mean, at the moment, Undertaker, I don't know what happened with Undertaker, but it looks like a couple of gold villagers definitely were running idle here. He's up to 350 food, but only 150 gold. Slowly coming together, though. Don't worry, he'll be up soon. On that north side of the map, we're right on board with Crackety here as he begins to throw down a forge on the stone outcropping. I'm expecting we're probably going to be seeing an Beneman rush here. He's been favoring this a lot lately. I've watched a couple of Crackety games. I was not really thinking about casting them, just more studying them. And I noticed that he played this Japanese mirror. And basically, the Japanese player went for your standard fast TC. And he went for an Beneman opening. And the Japanese player, instead of going for the super fast TC, where you only get the 350 stone and then gather up gold for the rest of it, he got the Daimyo Minor. And then he tried to get the extra 350 stone, and he did it. And as he was putting down the second TC, Crackety walked up to him with his Beneman and said, "No, you don't, sir." And almost immediately, the player just gave up straight away. So there you go, nice little Japanese mirror for you. But let's talk about this matchup. We got English, we got Japanese. We've seen this matchup before. It ended up being a big feudal fight. It had Undertaker in it as well. He did very well that game, coming out with an English victory. Will he be able to pull off the same thing again today up against Crackety? Will Crackety dare take him in the feudal age? Will Crackety look to match the town center number? Because we did see Undertaker in the last game go for a second TC. It doesn't look like he's pulling for it at the moment. We can see he's quite heavily on wood. Probably not the most optimal position here as well. You know, I often tell you guys, I will be the macro police for high-level players. These guys are both Conqueror 3. And just a little bit of warning to all you aspiring Conq 3 players out there. This tree is not the optimal tree to gather from. We want to be gathering from these two here, and that's one of the consequences of letting your villagers choose which tree they're going to go to is often they'll just pick silly little trees and really not go for it. But now Undertaker will spot out the villagers on the stone. He's going to see 4 villagers there, and he doesn't really know, you know, is this going to be the, is he going to be going for the Daimyo Manor? Is he going to be going for a second town center? What's the play here? We don't know. And because of that, I'm curious to see the response from Undertaker. He's got to go for the early barracks, so just looking to play this a little bit more passive. Maybe got a bit of an idea about exactly what Crackety might be throwing down. Not looking for that second TC in this game, but maybe that's also largely because of the map here. We are playing on Cliffside, a map where you do spawn quite close to the opponent. Undertaker now ages up, immediately throws 2 longbows in queue. He's looking to put on pressure. We can see that rally point heading straight towards the middle of the map. On the other side of the map, though, Crackety about to age up himself. Daimyo Minor on the way through. Have a look at this macro. This is absolutely perfect macro. He should have enough for that stable. There it is. Throws it down. Where's the stable going down? There it goes with the wood villagers and has enough. There's the Daimyo Manor coming right in on time. This is going to be a world record timing. Have a look how early this is coming through. This Japanese opening is absolutely ludicrous. He's got all the resources in the bank that he needs. The macro is on point here for Crackety. He's finished with his stone and now begins to throw down. Click it, baby, click it. It's the Bannerman, the Uma Bannerman, now coming out for Crackety. No real surprise here. As I mentioned before, this is one of the openings he has been leaning towards recently. And it's a very strong opening. Just allows you to take control of the map. We can see he's already rallying the Uma Bannerman up towards this north side. I don't know exactly what that is about. Maybe looking to try and hide it away from the opponent with the inevitable spears and longbows coming in. Or maybe he's thinking, oh, look at this. He kind of read the situation and said, I know exactly where you're going. You're coming up towards that top side. But now the Uma Bannerman going to get caught out. 4 longbows here together with a spear. Unfortunately, the Bannerman copping 900 damage. It's over 9,000. Copping a lot of damage there. Getting absolutely no damage done. And all goes back to that single spearman getting the stun off or the skewer off. And just making sure that wasn't going to happen. I'm curious what happened there. Did Crackety know he was intercepting? Or what was the deal? Because that was very well played by Undertaker. And I feel like Crackety probably didn't respect him as much as he should have. He now makes his moves over towards the other side of the map. But definitely not a textbook opening there from Crackety. Immediately we see villagers throwing down the outpost on the gold vein. He wants to make sure this gold is safe. Not going to be looking for any cute little walls, which you definitely could do in this situation. But instead going to go with the outpost. Definitely makes a lot of sense here. We'll guarantee that he's always able to hit that button, jump inside the outpost, hopefully before he loses any villagers. Now checking in with Crackety on that north side. We've got archers that begin to come out of the archery range. We've seen players look to try and do this before. In the middle though, nice little pick off here. Uma Bannerman almost going down. He's got no way to heal up. You know, that's one of the changes I'd like to make with the Bannerman units. Give them some kind of passive heal like Joan of Arc. I'm just kidding. They're strong enough. They'll be fine. They'll be all right. Maybe you could increase their costs to justify it. But that would be a cool little bonus. It would kind of suck, though. Can you imagine just always dealing with a French knight at 5 minutes into the game? With chivalry already up. Yeah, it's kind of just like playing the French, isn't it? Maybe not. Anyway. Nice little villager rotation here from Crackety. Cognizant of the units towards his north. They continue to move around. There they are. Nice little batch of them. But he is starting to cook. We do see 3 of the world's best archers inside that town center. I say the world's best. They're not really the world's best. They're the world's cheapest archers. You get the most affordable. Cheap implies that there's like a lack of quality there. Whereas affordable, it's like you're getting yourself a good deal with these archers. You're not paying so much, but you're getting some bang for your buck. But now, towards that top side, the units continue to rally around. Just the 1 TC against the 1 TC for now. No one looking to move into a secondary TC, but we have started to see upgrades on the way. Takazuki, not yet researched. That's the level 2 wheelbarrow for him. The longbow's just going to decide to tee off on this forge, get themselves a little bit of value in the meantime while they can. And now we start to see more units on the south side. Undertaker, I tell you what, man, I don't know who this guy is, but he is absolutely... He's killing it at the moment. He's doing some work playing the English the exact way that it should be played. This is where I'd love to see that transition come through. I feel like this is the appropriate time to be adding that second TC. You've put that pressure on early. You've denied away the Bannerman. And now I think is the perfect time to add in that second TC. You add in that second TC. Fall back a little bit, just kind of chill out and then play into the strength of the longbows. You've still got your scout alive as well. That's the other thing to note. You've still got your scout alive, so you're going to be able to check in and see if your opponent is going for that second TC, if they're looking to mass up units, you know, what's the best way to play it. You've got a lot of options open to you here as the English, but which one is going to be the best option and which one is going to be the option that he takes? And he's going to opt with throwing down a whole bunch of farms. I do note he's got still plenty of sheep under the TC, so doesn't need to do this. Could have used this wood on something else. That's a fair bit of wood when you think about it, right? 37 wood for each farm. You've thrown down 8 farms. We're talking almost 300 wood right there. That's a fair bit of wood. Definitely could have done a TC with it, but nice little wall coming up from Crackety. We're right on board with him as he continues massing up units. Going to be moving into the horsemen. So going with a cavalry archer composition here. Double archery range comes out. Has this been spotted? I don't know whether this second archery range has been spotted, but this is kind of a giveaway as to the plan of Crackety and the desire to stay a little bit longer in the feudal age. I'm curious if he makes the same mistake that the last Japanese player that faced the Undertaker made. That's going to be the question here. But now these troops for the English have united. He's going to look to try and pick a fight. He's got decent numbers, but not quite enough to pick off the archers. You can see the Bannerman will go down, drops it, Banner on the ground. And Archer, look at the archers, able to one-shot these spear, and that's exactly what you want from them. Now the horsemen will be able to come through and clean up. And from this, he's going to find himself an absolutely great deal. Unfortunately, from Undertaker, just a little few 2 units and just the perfect amount of Yumi Ashigaru here to enable those one-shotting of the spears. And that's going to be it. A really nice victory early on here for Crackety. This is part of what I was saying before about, you know, if you go into the second town center, then it's really easy because you just take your units and you walk back to your base. And that's it. And then you just play a nice little defensive pocket position with a longbow mass. Maybe mix a few spears as well. But have a look at this. Crackety might be thinking about doing the same thing, going for that second TC. A lot of villagers moving out towards here. He could look to go into the Daimyo Palace, but realistically, he's not going too hard on farms. So I don't think you need to really focus on that. But now in the middle of the map, Outpost going to be coming down. The reunification for the English forces in the center of the map. I think he's going to have to cancel. Indeed, he does cancel the Outpost. Was a additional spearman coming out here, but still the numbers are looking a little bit worrisome. He needs enough longbows to be able to one-shot the Yumi. You can see he still doesn't have them. That's the critical mass, because once he's got that number, then he can make sure that these Yumi get whittled down, and the spearmen are going to start to stay alive, because they won't be able to get one-shot anymore by the Yumi. It becomes a very powerful dynamic once you've got enough longbows in. But we now start to see more and more upgrades coming through. Takazuki coming through now for Crackety. Wheelbarrow coming through for the Undertaker. Second rack's going to get thrown down for the Undertaker, which is always a sign that men-at-arms are about to come out, and we do check the UI, and you can see men-at-arms are now in the queue. So there you go. Normally, you don't want to do men-at-arms off one rack, so normally you don't want to do men-at-arms this early. I feel like this might be a bit of a mistake from the Undertaker. We kind of want to wait until we're about 25 to 30 longbows before we start switching in the men-at-arms, just because we want to make sure that we're able to one-shot pretty much everything on the map before those men-at-arms arrive, because the men-at-arms are going to come out here, and he's just going to ignore it completely. He's just going to continue focusing down these longbows. You can see he's having a little bit of a curious... You know, he doesn't know exactly what he's up to, but he's making sure he just focuses down these longbows. That's all he needs to do. A couple of units now on the front. Unfortunately, he does manage to escape. These fast units, these Yumi Ashigaru, 1.38 movement speed, able to outrun every English unit except for the horseman. I guess probably also technically the knight could catch them. But we're talking about the feudal age here. And now Crackety's still working towards that stone. He is going to go into the Daimyo Palace. My mistake. Okay, a little bit of a misread right there. So looking to try and equalize or catch up to the English farms in the feudal age. Is his plan to stay longer in the feudal age? Because if so, that would make a lot of sense. If he goes into the Daimyo Palace here, because, you know, maybe he wants to throw in more farms around the town center, look to get that big food economy in. We're at 12 minutes here. Let's switch it over. You can see at the moment, Undertaker, 600 food a minute, 800 food coming through for Crackety, and that's going to continue to rise. Keep in mind, that extra gather rate now going to be transferring through to those villages. It'll take time for them to be realized, but longbows should be able to pick off these villages here. Indeed, they will. And the outpost, unfortunately, looks like it's not going to be going up, at least not at the moment. He will have to cancel it. Forced away from that stone outcropping. And we'll have to head back to the drawing board. But realistically, there's 38 gold or 38 stone on this. Throwing down an outpost for it, to be honest, his opponent's just done him a solid here and helped him out. Said, hey, look, you don't need an outpost there, man. I'm going to help you out. Throws the outpost down and unfortunately gets cancelled. But have a look at this. Undertaker going to be saying, well, you couldn't place an outpost there, but I will help you out. I will place it down for you. A little bit of a counter raid. Have a look at this. Yumi Ashigaru on the backside. Villager snipes coming in. 1, 2. 2 taken out so far. He tries to hit the lumber camp. Not successful, didn't take it out. 3 vills. Will he get a 4th one? He will indeed. Actually, that's a 5th one. Nice little fadeaway there from the Yumi Ashigaru. Done a great job, and they spot a 6th villager out here. They say thank you. And I think this is probably one of the most underexplored units of the Japanese. What is happening right now is incredible, because think about it from this perspective. We talked about their speed earlier. We mentioned the fact that men-at-arms can't catch them, longbows can't catch them, spears can't catch them. The only thing that can catch them at this stage of the game are horsemen. And the English, they want to avoid every single unit that has 4 legs in the feudal age. There's a lot of caveats there. And as a result, I feel like the Yumi Ashigaru can pretty much just come through here untouched. They can just go through, cause idle villages. As long as they're able to one-shot, they're going to be fine. But now on this backside, Outpost is coming up on the gold. Does have its fortification, so it's got a little bit of extra health. And now those Yumi Ashigaru teeing off towards a couple of villages. He's not going to be able to take them out. Diving underneath the town center, the floating gate is on the way. The landmark, which has been nerfed in recent times, does get opted to go with here by Crackety. Got to be careful though. If the longbows are able to spot this out, which they are, they could look to snipe out the Yorishiro holding Shinto priest. Let's see if they move into position. He could deny the age up altogether entirely if he gets over here. There's no forge nearby, but there is a farmhouse, so he could look to throw down that Yorishiro. Now he moves in. Oh, this could be terrible. Undertaker. Oh, he's got to do it. The Yorishiro gone. Absolutely massive destruction right there. Wow. Crackety here making a huge gamble with that positioning on the floating gate, not near the town center, nowhere near. Obviously wants to keep it nice and clear for farms. Went to try and raid the enemy base. Didn't go too... Well, I mean, it went pretty well. He killed a couple of villagers over there. But he lost the Yorishiro. Wow, that is massive. That is absolutely huge. Now, it will come back. The Yorishiro will come back. Remember, it's okay. We will rebuild. But it's going to take time. It's going to be 2 minutes before that next Yorishiro is online. And so it means that until you reach that Yorishiro cap of 4, you're just going to be out of luck. So probably going to be losing, let's think, if he'd managed to throw it in the farmhouse, 75 food a minute, every 2 minutes it spawns, so 150, and you need to wait for 4 of them, so 600 food he's losing by not getting that into here. That's a pretty nice haul right there. Shinto Priest, or Shinto Shrine was trying to come up over here. Uma Beneman going to be able to chase them out. Keep in mind these units do shadow tech with the castle age, so no need to upgrade them to veterancy. They are already upgraded, and he's going to continue to hunt down these longbowmen. We'll now get that Shinto Shrine online, and I think Crackety may have recognized that there are 3 sacred sites over here. If we can actually take them, we're going to be in a really hot spot. But now, back towards that top side. Neither of these players yet to put down that second TC. If we have a look at the stone, it's still untouched here by the Undertaker. Not a lot of units out at the moment. Only 9 military units, but neither of these players particularly interested in committing too heavily. And Undertaker, is he thinking about going castle? Is that what he's doing? How many villas are on food? Only 21? He's got 44. I guess he did lose a fair bit. Both of these players have lost a lot of villages throughout this game already. Now more units looking to come up to the top side. Crackety will spot this out. He can look to issue a response here. Or he could look to issue a counter response. Have a look at this. We got the mounted samurai beginning to come through. They're going to just clean up these spears here. They're not even going to think twice about it. Never mind. He says 6 hardened spearmen. That's too many spears for me. Is he going to take it or not? What does he want to do here? More mounted Sams coming through. At the same time, towards the back of the base. Doesn't look like any villagers have gone down. A couple of men-at-arms definitely did, though. He's going to just keep chasing them around, and now one of the sacred sites is capturing over on that west side. Mounted samurai making their way through. Remember that one of the difficult things to deal with while you're in the feudal age and your enemies in the castle age is going to be knights, or any kind of knight replacement, the lancer, the samurai, or mounted samurai rather, anything like that, because the main way that you deal with this effectively is spear crossbow. You don't have access to crossbow, and your spears, while they're hardened, they don't have their veterancy upgrade yet. They don't have access to the +2s on the arm, or I was going to say the armory, at the blacksmith. And because of that, it makes it difficult to fight. Like, technically, yes, you can fight against this, but they're not the most efficient fights. And often, if your opponent's got strong micro, they can just pull back the weakened units because you've got no crossbows to finish them off. But still, a good little hold there from Undertaker. He does well. We're right on board with him now as he begins to wall up his base. Not going for anything, any sort of, the way I would describe it, you've got 2 types of walls, right? You can go for these walls, and then you can go for the ones that, you know, connect the dots, basically, with your little forests or your resources on the edge of the map. And he has not opted to connect the dots. He has literally just drawn a wall in a straight line. He said, we'll just draw it as far as it goes, and then we'll try our best to get it up on this top side, though. Look at this. We got Longbow and Men-at-Arms just doing a tandem raid together. Tag, you're it. Tag, you're it. And none of the vills get taken out. It's that extra movement speed coming through from Takazuki now. A single mounted samurai will be able to shut this down completely. Second sacred site in the middle, captured. Third sacred site still sitting uncontested for the moment, but expect Crackety to be picking it up. Crackety to be picking it up shortly. There's the next Yorishiro. We hear it spawn, that beautiful little sound. Where does he look to throw this? Now, my suspicion is Forge. I feel like you have to just put it in a forge. With the current way that it is, I have no idea what that means. I guess that means the Yorishiros, like, you have one Yorishiro. I feel like you have to throw it in a forge, though. I don't think you can go any other way about it, just simply because you only get 4. Has he? Oh, he's already put 1 in the town center. Okay, never mind me. He's just thrown 1 in the TC. Is there any other way to track it? I guess we can see this cute little symbol. That's about it now. They do train slightly faster. It's basically like having a Song Dynasty for your TC. The reason I don't like it going in the TC... he threw it in the Forge. Okay, this is good. The reason I don't like it in the TC is because now you have a limit of 4 Yorishiro. So naturally, the longer the game goes, the more villages you'll make. And the sooner you'll get to 130 villages, which is pretty much where you want to cap out. And on 1 TC, maybe this actually makes a fair bit of sense. On 2 TC, though, this definitely wouldn't. But on 1 TC... I think this is actually viable because you're able to justify, like, if we were to do the math here, you've got one villager coming out every 16 seconds. So let's just call it 4 villagers a minute versus 3 villagers a minute. After 10 minutes, you've got an extra 10 villagers. That's a pretty decent difference. So I think it's definitely something you can justify as long as you're getting value from those villagers in the long term. And I guess if you make it to the late stage of the game because you had those extra villagers, then you could probably justify it. But now, Mounted Samurai coming through. Nice little quick wall attempt from the Undertaker on the south side. Villagers do get taken out. Mounted Samurai continue running through the base. At the same time, Spearmen have been upgraded to veterancy. Going to be able to defend this. Keep in mind, he's on 2 TC, the Undertaker is, but he's going up against 1.25 TCs. Is it 1.25 or just 1.2? I think it's just 1.2 TCs. Even though I think it says 25%, doesn't it? Yeah, it says 25%. Is that right? Surely that's not right. Hold on, no. Production speed increased 25%. So that means it's going to 1.25, which means that it reduces it by a factor of 0.2. So that's correct because it's 4 seconds taken off. Man, it's numbers, hey, numbers. I tell you what, it's difficult. Samurai now coming out, though. Have a look at this. These guys are not mounted. Onnabagation joining the party as well. Looking for an outpost. Not going to be able to find it. Mounted Samurai going to get cleaned up. The crossbows have started to build here. And he's moving into the classic composition. Spearman crossbow. One of the best in the business right here. Looking to try and neutralize this sacred site. Still, this central sacred site is uncontested by Crackety. Did have the option to take it a little bit earlier. Behind this, look at the Benaman. The Benaman just tanking up these spears forever. Shinto Priest trying to sneak one through here. I reckon he was probably going to get focused down. Indeed he does. Not even going to try for a walla lol. And now Crackety defending with the Samurai. Looking to swing to win here, but the crossbow numbers are building. This will prevent him from ever really building up that big mass. He needs to try and keep these crossbows on the aggressive. It's really important. You can't let your opponent build up a big, massive samurai. We've seen what happens before. We've seen what happens when the samurai get too big for their breaches, I think it's the saying is. And you end up just having, 60, 70 samurai, all elite upgraded, and no way to stop them at all. It's just not possible. It's not feasible. You can micro, you can kite, but eventually they're going to catch you. Eventually they're going to run you to the edge of the earth, and they will kill you. They are samurai. They're very strong. All right, let's check in. Next Yoroshiro about to come through. This is going to be the third one, technically the fourth one for the game. You guys will remember what happened to that first one. And I think that just goes to show the changes to the floating gate landmark are significant. Often people would look at that and say, this doesn't really have a tangible benefit, or before the Yoroshiro kind of sat on the ground and then you could pick it up when it was safe. Whereas now it's like, no, if you lose the Shinto Priest as soon as it spawns, that's it, you're done. But now on the front line, have a look at the numbers that are building here. But keep in mind, the veteran Yumi Archer, not that strong as a unit, but once they've got all of these upgrades starting to kick, they really do increase. They've got the Benaman upgrade, they've got +1, +2. We've got plenty of upgrades going for them at the moment. It's going to work down the crossbows on the back, and you can see that Crackety is able to overpower the English player at this stage of the game. 1 TC up against 1 TC, or rather 1 TC up against 2 TCs, because one of them's a landmark, the other one's a capital town center. And still yet unable to catch Crackety on that 1 TC. Numbers continue to build here. Men-at-Arms also coming out. Yet to find that armor cladding. Not yet in the queue either. And forces back his opponent. A little bit of a seesaw here in the middle of the map. Plenty of production here for Crackety. I'm loving it. Daimyo Palace still yet to see that Shogunate Castle. He's got a few villagers in the queue at the moment. Do we count them? All right, let's do it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. That's 700 foods worth of villagers just chilling out right now. Relic does get sniped away. Okay. That's kind of big, right? Because he did notice that his opponent was carrying that relic. Intentionally went to try and take it out. Looked to try and pull it back behind the wall. Not going to find success, though. And this army is quite large from Crackety. And he does have 3 Shinto priests on the map. I suspect he will have one on the way towards this location. We've got one on standby on this second sacred site in the center. And now able to push down that wall. He continues looking towards the opponent's base. Will force the villagers back off the wood line. They're going to start scrambling, looking for alternative sources. Don't tell them about renewables. In fact, wood's renewable, right? Lumber? I feel like it is, because you can just plant more. You cut it down, but then you plant more. I mean, you could probably grow more coal. Take you a couple million years, though. Anyway, underneath the town center, English Undertaker, he's trying his best to hold on. The 2 TC versus the 1 TC. Crackety's still ahead on the village account. Couple units towards the top side. It's going to be Veteran Samurai looking for it. And even though we lost that Yorishiro in the beginning of the game, Crackety still somehow manages to turn it around. So many units underneath this English TC. It's going to be a good game, fellas. Make sure you go check him out. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can watch him live, demonstrating that even though they nerfed the floating gate, the Japanese, they've still got it. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.